The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you live and around the world from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Mutual Broadcast Network, on the TalkStar Radio Network, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and the all-new IPBN Radio Network. If you'd like to send me an email, I love getting your emails, even from those of you who have that tinfoil on a little bit too tight. X-Zone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. By the way, if you like the music we play in between segments, that music is from our all-new 724 365 music channel, ipbnmusic.com. That's ipbnmusic.com. We only have commercials once an hour. The rest of the hour is non-stop new age music, native music, music to help you inspire yourself, music to relax. Just give it a listen. And there's an email address on the site. Tell us what you think about the music. And that's at www.ipbnmusic.com. Exonation, my guest this hour is going to be talking about UFOs. David Campione is my special guest. He is with Spacious Sky Productions in Florida. David's career has been in photography, freelance and commercial, as well as industrial studio and location for over 37 years. Just recently, he went into the world of digital single-lens reflex camera, a far different venue from the 4x5 view camera he used for many years. He has an associate degree in business administration, studied at a Ansel Adams photographic workshop for black and white photography. For larger view camera photography, only in 1975. He was a forensic photographer for the prosecutor's office for nearly 7 years. Joining me now to talk about those things in the sky. What are they? How can we get a better understanding of what they are? And what is a forensic photographer's take on UFOs? Joining me now is David Campione. And David, always great having you on the show. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing great, Rob. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just as if you're in the next studio.
Okay. Well, I actually am not.
No, you're a long way from here in beautiful sunny Florida, the Sunshine State.
Yeah, very hot, sunny Florida. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to be on tonight. We had some major storms go through, but our power held out. So.
Memorial Weekend was last weekend, and you spent 4 years in the United States Coast Guard, and yes. You also did a tour in Vietnam. So thank you, sir, for your service.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
David, for the listeners who may not have had the advantage of hearing you the last time you were on with us talking about UFOs, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and what the connection to UFOs is?
Yeah, I was very from now my perspective at this age, I was very fortunate. My father started researching flying saucers right after the Kenneth Arnold reporting back in, I think it was 1947. So I've grown up with this. And in the Philadelphia and the southern New Jersey area, my dad became like the expert in that area, even though he worked in a factory in the evenings. He was getting media coverage at the local TV stations and the talk radio stations, and whenever somebody had a sighting, they would call a radio station and they said, "Well, call Mike, my father, Michael Campione," and he, over probably 30 years, he probably took 10 to 15,000 sighting reports as an individual, not even as an organization, just by himself to learn what was going on. And he compiled a lot of information, some remarkable UFO sightings in the Philadelphia and southern New Jersey area, which is compromised, which they call the Delaware Valley, or Delville. They shortened it. And through the 60s and the early 70s, there was so much activity. I think that was the most activity of flying saucers in that Delville area, which is Philadelphia and southern New Jersey, anywhere in the world.
David, we're going to have a little bit of a cliffhanger here because I have to take my first break. Please stand by. Great talking to you. Exonation, David Campione is our special guest. We're talking about UFOs this hour, and David and I will be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Welcome back, everyone. David Campione is my very special guest of this hour. David has been a good friend to the X Zone and a guest over the years. His website is www.spaciousSky.com. That's www.spaciousSky.com. All right, David, I'm sorry I had to cut you off there. You were telling us about way back in the day, your dad was the go-to whenever there was a UFO sighting.
Absolutely, in the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia, southern New Jersey area.
Were there, and you said there were a lot of UFO sightings in that part of the the United States.
Yeah, all his research with and the information he took from the witnesses of reporting a specific craft or their actual contact, he estimated over 150, maybe 155 different visitors, ETs, in that area.
Wow.
In 30 years. That's a lot.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Tell me, David, you've been doing this a number of years. You've been carrying on your dad's proud tradition, you know. Why do you think that there are so many sightings and yet people still don't believe?
Yeah, well, I think everybody's waiting for the news media or the government, or they just go and watch. I mean, if you look at, I love Star Wars. I think it's a phenomenal thing. But if you look at the people on there, would you want to contact one of those or be in touch with one? I mean, no. Then they have the reptilians and the bloodsuckers, and it just goes on and on and on. So I think I personally think it's a huge conspiracy against the people who say they see things, and then it started with the CIA. And it's always been the CIA, actually, Rob, because they only dealt with the information or the people reported because it dealt with extraterrestrial, and non-terrestrial to this continental United States was the FBI territory. Now, everything's been changing lately. So having done some work with some CIA stuff, the information that they had given to me many years ago, films that I would view, I would photograph individually and take, as they called it, they had a specific word, Rob, and your listeners, they called it artifact.
Artifacts?
Artifacts, yeah. I mean, I used to go around and around with some of these people because I haven't seen 13 in my lifetime, ET or UFOs, or never met anybody personally that I know of. But you meet some strange people and you meet some wonderful people, so you have to weigh each situation. We used to rattle our brains and bat heads over the craft that I saw, or even the ones that I presented to them in the color slide presentation that my father had put together, and I took it over and started showing it around. But It's really, really phenomenal, Rob. Two things that actually were strange in my life. In 1956, there were six of us leaving. We left left the church where the Boy Scouts used to meet, and we were walking home. It was in Philadelphia, in the far northeast, on Frankfurt Avenue around Ron Street, and we were just in the middle of the Frankfurt Avenue Bridge, looking east, and the Pennypack Creek was running underneath. We kicked some rocks into there. We were kids. It's 1956, like 12 years old, and we saw the most phenomenal space thing zoom across the sky. We estimated to be 300 feet in diameter, and we were at least 2 miles away from this thing. And we saw the bottom side of this spacecraft, which I found out years later. I don't know how true it is, through a channel, not a psychic, but a channeler, that said that this particular craft that we saw when we were young men was from Alpha Centauri. So, and then that just progressed to it just seems like I noticed more. My dad always told me before I went into service, he said, never mention flying saucers. Well, I saw quite a few while I was in the service. So it was, and there were other people that saw them. Up in Maine, we saw some interesting ones up there in Maine at nighttime.
Well, why do you think, David, the governments of the world are keeping this truth away from the people? What would it change if these craft have been in our skies for so long? Like, let's just go back to Roswell, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, 1947. And since then, millions of people have claimed to see these craft. Number of people claim to have been abducted and taken aboard these craft. Some of the people claim that they've had fetuses removed from them by these people. And the list goes on and on and on. Why, in your opinion, based on the experience, and I'm sure the conversations that you had with your dad, why do you think that there is this conspiracy to keep the truth away from the people?
Well, because the people wouldn't put up with the crap that we deal with in this environment here. I mean, just look at the political structure that's going on in the United States right now for the presidential election this year. It's like a good and evil battle.
Hey, I've got to tell you something, my good friend. It beats the O.J. Simpson trial to hell. Like, it is the best docudrama I've ever watched on TV. Like, you've got Clinton, you've got Sanders, you've got Trump, and now you've got these two bozos from the Libertarian Party, and I killed myself laughing the other day. Here's the presidential hopeful from the Libertarian Party. He's wearing a suit, and he's wearing running shoes. Like, this it can't get any better.
I know. In fact, they were trying to hook Hillary up. I get some newsletters that they're trying to get Hillary involved with the UFO community, and God, that's really scary. Unless it's really the sinister ones, but I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, when you look at what the Vatican has done. They set up. They confiscated land in Arizona, and they're trying to make contact. I mean, what is going on here? My personal opinion is,
Yeah.
they don't want you to be in contact with them. As you well know, Rob, and I know your listeners probably don't know this, back in, I think it was 1969, NASA had petitioned the United States Congress for the contact of alien beings.
Yeah.
And it ran its course, and it stopped in the early 90s. It doesn't exist, supposedly. But why would somebody do this? I mean, they said, well, it's biological things. I don't know. I just do not know why they would come up with something like this.
You know, earlier today, I went home, left the office. I had a massive headache. So I decided to go home, and my wife made me a beautiful lunch. She always takes good care of me.
Wonderful.
And she said, let me turn on the TV. And I very rarely watch TV during the day except the news channels. Mm-hmm. But there was a documentary on, I believe it was the National Geographic Channel, about the Battle of Los Angeles, going back to February the 24th, 25th of 1949, where where the gun batteries on the Pacific coast were expecting an invasion force from Japan after what had happened in Pearl Harbor.
Right.
And the gunners were given the authority to shoot at will. And they started shooting at something that was caught in the searchlights that they were using. And many people saw a UFO. And other people reported that there were smaller UFOs leaving the large UFO as if they were scout ships. Now, nobody can say for sure, or has said for sure, that this was in fact a UFO. Now, according to some of the witnesses, the artillery shells actually hit this thing and just kind of bounced off. So when you hear this from multiple witnesses, front page news, you add it with what we know about Kenneth Arnold. We add it. Well, I'm not going to throw Roswell in there because I really don't think Roswell was the big case it was. But with the Sonora sighting and the Aztec sightings, something is out there. And wouldn't it be better for the government to let the people know, number one, if it is experimental craft, especially at this time? Look, all these years later, to say, you know what, we had to maintain secrecy because we had just finished World War II. We were looking at a Cold War with the Soviet Union.
Right.
We couldn't let you guys know what we were really doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things I think that'll back up what you're just talking about on that, and their secrecy, and I don't know how it really ties in, but in my UFO spacecraft identification manual, I think one of the more fascinating incidents was the two couples that were driving in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, heading to a hospital to visit somebody that they knew was in there who was ill, and when they looked, it was near the Cherry Hill, New Jersey Mall, and they looked at the RCA building, which was, I believe, would have been on the south side, I believe, of the highway, I think it's 38. And there's an RCA building with a flat top roof, and they estimated this craft sitting on its roof 400 feet long, just sitting with a gangplank. Well, they saw the gangplank when they came back from the hospital. This craft was still there. There were accidents. Everything was all covered up. But there was this gangplank that was going down to the flat roof of this RCA building. Now, we all know Radio Corporation of America, they're electronics inventors. So who knows what they were doing.
Exactly.
And what they were giving them, if there was actually an extraterrestrial, but a 400-foot long spaceship.
But how come only 4 people saw it?
Oh, no, there were more.
Oh, really?
I'm saying there were more because there was the truck driver. He wrecked his car, and he had the accident, and the New Jersey State Trooper came immediately within a minute, and he never even had to call it in. Of course, they didn't have 911. I don't think they had 911 back in those days, and they took his car they told him, don't worry about it. The state trooper took him to the hospital to get checked out, and then he took him home. He said, what about my vehicle? And he said, don't worry about it. And they came back the next day, and he said, what happened to my car again? He kept on asking his trooper. So the state trooper took him to this auto body shop, and his car was like brand new. When he picked it up, they fixed the damage. They repainted the whole vehicle. It was all fixed
Unreal.
up.
Hey, David, stand by, my friend. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. X-Zone Nation, David Campione is our very special guest. www.spacioussky.com. And stranger things have happened, I'll tell you that much. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit about the Battle of Los Angeles and a lot more with our very special guest, David Campione. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be back after this news break. And welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Don't forget, following the X-Zone every night, Monday through Friday, is Jeremy Scott with Dark 30. A great show, a great guy. I've had the pleasure of talking to Jeremy a number of times, listening to his show. Don't miss it. And then on the weekends, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For all the information about the Mutual Broadcast Network and its scheduling, as well as when you can listen to Alex Jones, visit the Mutual Broadcast Network website at www.mutualbroadcast.com. The Battle of Los Angeles was also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid. It is the name given by contemporary sources to the rumored enemy attack and subsequent anti-aircraft artillery barrage, which took place from late 24th of February to early 25th February 1942 over Los Angeles, California. The incident occurred less than 3 months after the United States entered World War II as a result of the Japanese Imperial Navy's attack on Pearl Harbor, and one day after the bombardment of Elwood on 23rd February. Initially, the target of the aerial barrage was thought to be an attacking air force from Japan, but speaking at press conferences shortly afterwards, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox called the incident a false alarm. Newspapers of the time published a number of reports and speculations of a cover-up. Now, some contemporary ufologists and conspiracy theorists have suggested the targets were extraterrestrial spacecraft. When documenting the incident in 1949, the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Association identified a meteorological balloon sent up at 1 a.m. that started all the shooting, and concluded that once the firing started, imaginations created all kinds of targets in the sky, and everyone joined in. In 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History attributed the event to a cause of war nerves triggered by a lost weather balloon, and that was exacerbated by starry flares and shell bursts from adjoining batteries. Now, doesn't this seem a little familiar? Like, we've got balloons, weather balloons, being claimed to be the target. Didn't that happen in Roswell, New Mexico, David?
Yeah, I believe that's exactly what they said happened. You know, it's just funny. It's always it's either weather balloons or the or swamp gas up there. You know, you see, this is the problem when people come forth with something that is actual, or if there was actual military people who were firing them and on these craft, and then they're coming out with information. They're saying it's a weather balloon, like they're crazy. Well, these guys in the military are trained. They're extremely well trained to observe and to see what kind of craft. And if you see something totally unusual, you consider yourself to be under attack, and naturally you're going to fire your artillery.
You know, but when we talk about weather balloons, when we talk about blimps, whatever, you know, nobody ever mentions the Fugos. You've heard of those, haven't you, David?
No, I heard of the Foo Fighters, but the Foos.
Okay. The Fugos. Now, this is very interesting, and I've talked about this many times when I've gone out and done speaking lectures, and people look at me as if I have three heads. And then what they do is they go home and they do their research, and they say, well, how come nobody ever talks about these? Yeah. I'll just give you a little bit. A Fugo is a Japanese World War II weapon that were for small, unmanned, festive hot air balloons that would, they realized where the currents were in the sky, the jet stream. And what they would do, there's a certain part of Japan where they would actually launch these Fugos, and as the Fugo would be going along, it would drop a sandbag to increase its altitude. And this would happen all the way across the Pacific. And people say, well, nothing like that ever happened. Well, they did, because there were actually people in the United States who were killed by Fugos. You know, and they in the state of Washington, the Falkland Islands, you name it. But nobody talks about these.
No, I'm not familiar with them, Rob. I thought you were talking about. I have photographs. I don't know if I might have taken it out of the slide presentation where it shows one of our World War II planes, and there's a small disc off it that they called a Foo craft or something like that.
Let me just give a little bit of history before we get back to talking about your book. By the way, I always keep my copy of the UFO Spacecraft Identification Manual, over 50 UFO spacecraft illustrations, various sighting reports and experiences by you, David Campione, right here on my desk. This is the overview, okay? This is the short abridged version. From late 1944 to the 1945 era, the Japanese launched over 9,300 fire balloons, or fugos, of which 300 were found or observed in the United States of America. Despite the high hopes of their designers, the balloons were ineffective as weapons, causing only 6 deaths. Now, 6 deaths, okay?
That's a lot.
This was just from one single incident. The Japanese designed 2 types of balloons. The first was called Type B balloon, which was designed by the Japanese Navy. It was 30 feet in diameter and consisted of rubberized silk. The Type B balloon was first sent and first used mainly for meteorological purposes. The Japanese used them to determine the possibility of carrying bombs reaching North America. The second type was the bomb-carrying balloon. Japanese bomb-carrying balloons were 33 feet in diameter and, when fully inflated, held about 19,000 cubic feet of hydrogen. Their launch sites were located on the east coast of the mainland Japan near the island of Honshu. Japan released the first of these bomb-bearing balloons on November the 3rd, 1944. They were found in Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, North Dakota, Oregon, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming, as well as Mexico and Canada. One of the general in the Japanese Army launched over 9,000 balloons throughout the course of the project. The Japanese expected 10%, or around 900 of them, to reach North America, which is also what is currently believed by researchers. About 300 balloons were found or observed in America. It is likely more than wait a sec here. It is likely that more balloons landed in unpopulated areas of North America. Now, let's go back to Roswell, New Mexico, 1945. You've got this crash debris. Remember the parts that had strange writing on it?
Yeah, right. I've seen the photo.
Okay.
Yes.
And how, when you folded the material, it would bounce back?
Yeah, it was almost like an aluminum foil type thing, but it wasn't because it returned.
Right. So imagine taking rubber and crumpling it in your hand and letting it go. What happens?
Yeah.
I see what I've always thought from day one. What I have always thought, that what Roswell, New Mexico was actually a fugo that was discovered.
Huh.
And of course, the government would not say what it was, because how do they explain to, like, the information that I've just read to you and to the listening audience about fugos is well documented. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a cover-up, but nobody talks about it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all.
Exactly.
No.
So, is it possible that this is what it was? I don't know. I'm just saying I find it rather strange and rather, what's the right word here?
Strange. And unusual.
And unusual. That
I don't know. I kind of think that the actual Roswell thing was an actual spacecraft because of the experiments that we were doing in Mexico and of the with the different the hydrogen bombs, I guess. And,
okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree that because of what had happened through Roswell, New Mexico, that it would make a very interesting area for extraterrestrials to want to see what the heck was going on and what kind of mess we were getting ourselves into.
Right.
But when Jesse Marcel, the base intelligence officer, is dispatched to go to the Brazil farm, collect the material, and bring it back to the base, what does this guy do? Instead of going right back to the base with the evidence, he brings it to his house and wakes up his wife and kids and lets them see it and play with it.
That's right. I remember now.
You see, now I'm just wondering if he said, look what the Japanese have done. Look what I found in the field. Look.
Yeah, but if I recall, some of the photographs that I have seen, they were black and white of the images that were on some of that metal. It didn't look like Japanese to me.
All right. Now, here's my question to you.
Yeah.
If by the way, I highly respect your opinion of photographs based on your knowledge and your experience. And this never comes into question, my friend. But the photographs that are shown, could they have been exchanged with something else so that those people who could tell Japanese writing would know that this was Japan, and once again causing a panic? Like the people gave the government a beautiful cover story. It's a UFO. Hey, yeah, there you go. We don't need a cover story anymore.
That's right.
No. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to send you some more information on this. In fact, I'm going to put it in this in the June edition of the X Chronicles newspaper. On the back of your book, which I really love, by the way, How to Contact UFO Spacecraft for Information and Knowledge, UFO Spacecraft Identification Manual, over 50 UFO spacecraft illustrations and various sighting reports and experiences by you, my friend. On the back, in 2014, a scientist discovered a way to harness sun energy into a vacuum box. Their theory is to learn how to apply this energy to a spacecraft. They would be able to achieve speeds up to 660 million miles per hour. Just think of the possibilities of our solar system travels and way beyond. Unfortunately, the scientists say it will be about 100 years before it can actually happen. Lunch or Jupiter?
I mean, you'd be there in an hour, Jupiter.
Exactly. Exactly. But,
lunch. I mean, just think of the economic possibilities here. The billionaires should be on, the business people should be on top of this.
But you know what you did, my friend, and I really don't believe that you meant to do this, but when I read this, it's like, wait a sec. If this is true, and I don't doubt you, David, what about the claims of reverse engineering? Why would we have to wait 100 years to utilize some technology like this if there is a UFO in some hangar somewhere in the world that has been reverse engineered? And if the aliens are actually working with us, wouldn't they be able to tell us the technology that is required to use this? Why are we still using solid rocket fuel? Why does it take so long to get to Mars? Why are we going back to the moon if we have this technology? So, my friend, you just added gas onto a fire.
I have no idea why. I just think it's an economic thing, Rob.
I agree. I agree.
It's all about money, slavery, control of the world people.
Mm-hmm.
Control of the people, and only for a certain segment of society will ever be able to enjoy these riches or travels through our solar system and beyond. And of course, I don't think I'll be around. Well, maybe I will. I don't know.
I hope you are.
What's that?
I said I hope you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see all these crazy people. I get tired of them here. These media. Well, as you know, the media and everything. It's just insane what goes on. But but it was just like the poor man. When I tell people of, well, he's not poor. Well, he's passed on. Mr. Paul Villa, who, my dad, Michael Campione, and him, he corresponded. He was from around Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he photographed various craft over his time, and he just said, you people are crazy. Why are you contacting me? And we'd always hear the voices and everything. But he made the most incredible daylight stuff, which they don't push out. And I'm still seeing on the internet, TV, and in the mag. It's the same old crap. It's a light time. It's at night. There's a stupid light, and nobody knows what it is going through. When I have, and even I guess I will say Billy Meyer has real photographs of these craft that are out there, and they just don't want to deal with it. I don't know. I think it's control, Rob. I personally do. I think it's a controlling factor on the people.
Why do you think the ETs have chosen Billy Meyer?
I have no idea. No, I have no clue about why he chose him. I mean, maybe he's from there. I mean, maybe it's from there originally, or from wherever they're from. These people. I mean, some of the craft that I've seen that some. I was told that one was from Alpha Centauri. Now, I had to look up. What do I know about Alpha Centauri? I don't know. Some of the other craft, I have no idea where they're from because nobody's ever said. I mean, if they do now, I don't need people telling me that what you've seen is from somewhere else. I don't
True.
need that. I've been around this too long, and there's just so much going on. But when you see actual documented photographic evidence, and I in my manual, well, the front cover of the manual, it's Paul Villa's with the ones from Como Bernices. Now, just think of this, Rob. They're like this particular craft and the people that he visited with or met with came from Como Bernices, which is another spiral galaxy. I don't know which planet. You're talking 450 million light years. I mean, that's beyond Star Trek stuff. I mean, that's phenomenal. And he has photographed, but there's not this one. And I'm coming out with a new series. I just got the images put on a disc and everything. Not a series, but a book with all of the color photographs that I have in daytime with the flying saucers from Como Bernices, and a few other ones that I have that are actual daylight, not this nighttime stuff, because I just don't go for it.
What is your take on the Phoenix Lights?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I've read about it and everything. I've seen the pros and cons from the UFO community and saying there's definitely something there, and then you see from the government side and saying, well, some guy with a Piper Cub pulling lights. Well, give me a break. You know how hard it is to take a plane up at night with lights? It's just kind of bizarre. I don't know. I think there's more important things out there than just the Phoenix Lights, and they just focus on that because they don't want people focusing on the real craft that are out there.
Hey, David, we've got to take our final break. Please stand by. Great talking to you, my friend. X-Zone Nation, David Campione is our special guest. www.spaciousky.com. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Welcome back, one and all. David Campione is our special guest this hour, www.spaciousky.com. Now, he has UFO merchandise that's available on his website at spaciousky.com, and it's also available on amazon.com. By the way, David has received the EVE Award at Las Vegas, Nevada UFO Convention for the best UFO documentary for under 1 hour. And, congratulations, Dave, on all that you've done, your accomplishments, and we look forward to seeing many more from you, my friend, so don't plan on leaving us yet.
No, I don't plan on it. In fact, like I said, I'm working on it on a new book, and I hope to get it done this summer. But time constraints with everything. It takes time, but I appreciate being on here, Rob, and allowed to get some information out and talking with you because we made connections many years ago.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a long time.
Well, it has to be at least 18, 19 years.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. And a lot has happened, and a lot has not happened, and I'm just hoping that things, you just keep hoping that things are going to get better and better, but everything you see is getting worse and worse, and it's hard for people to keep positive attitudes with what goes on. It's just amazing. They just give a little carrot, take a bite and hold the rest from them.
Well, yeah, that's the way it's been from day one, my friend. Yeah, what do you think it'll take before the UFO phenomenon is realized as being something that is real, not just made up in the minds of those people in the back of a pickup truck with a big gallon jug of Jack Daniels?
I think it's going to be one of these new guys like the what's that car that they one of these car designers, these people who designed it, the younger generation that's coming up, not the main people, not the big General Motors and Ford people, but the smaller car people, because they keep getting into things. Even Richard Branson gets into a lot of things, and you just don't know. I just hope he's young enough and is able to hang on there for a while to get more information out there.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens this summer, David, with Independence Day Resurgence coming out in June.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So here we're going to have Independence Day 2 Resurgence, and apparently the invasion of Earth is by aliens that are rather large compared to the ones that they dealt with the last time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it'll be good to see, because usually when there is a UFO movie or one of these movies that Hollywood comes out with, sightings go up, alien abductions go up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Creates a lot of good media coverage, advertisements. It's great for the economy for this particular aspect of it.
It's almost as good as the presidential debates and the presidential race that you folks are having in the United States. By the wall, if Donald Trump wins the election, we're going to build a wall and send him the bill.
Are you moving to our southern border?
No, I'm in Canada. Canada's going to build a wall.
Okay.
I'm only kidding. Listen, David, as always, it's great talking to you, my friend. Let our listeners know where they can find out more about you and where they can get your wonderful products.
You just go to Amazon and get the UFO spacecraft identification manual. It gives you information in there to contact a craft. As a doctor I know in Gainesville, Florida, who actually used it with his kids recently, and I'm trying to find out when next time I see him, I'm going to ask him what their experiences were on it. And I'm on Facebook, but I don't use that too much for the UFO. But you can still contact me, David Campione, up on Facebook.
All right, David. Thanks very much for joining us. Take care of yourself, my good friend, and stay out of trouble.
Absolutely, Rob.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Exo Nation, I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue right here from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.